Alan, what is the building behind?
It was designed about 150 years ago to be a replica of the Parthenon and to be a monument to commemorate the deaths of the Scottish soldiers who died in the Napoleonic Wars. Edinburgh faced financial difficulty in 1829 and the whole building programme was stopped. The building itself, for a visitor coming to Edinburgh, not knowing the background, sees the monument as an ancient monument, for sure, but not a ruin. There's no sign of it having crumbled and decayed. So therefore it's unfinished. Why it's unfinished, one assumes a mystery until people research it a little. But everybody approaches it, I think, from the same point of view as I have. That what might it have been like? What would it be like with a roof? My particular fantasy is a roof made of lines of laser light going to infinity. The idea of infinity is that is where imagination begins and fantasy begins, beyond the visible. The actual idea is to make 3 lines of the length of the roof and a triangle of the pediment. The event will happen next festival, 1982.
So what is the point of the test that you're going to put on today?
To ascertain how the beams should be developed for the final work, because obviously a test is to establish, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be what the final work will look like, but it's intended that the technical people will know how to adjust them for next year, for 1982.
And who are these technical people?
Laser Creations, run by Chris Matthews.
The idea of this test is to find out and to see if the calculations have worked out, and to just see the sort of feasibility of the whole thing. But I don't see any problems because you can actually see the site that we're proposing. So later on we can set the whole thing up. Well, it's a challenge in a way because Edinburgh is, the site is ideal because of the bowl that you're in. So you've got a clear line of sight from the proposed site that we're going to use in terms of recreating the roof from its background. I think it'll look fantastic.
What do your personal view about how it will look for Edinburgh?
Oh, and that's exciting as well, because normally you just use the whole thing as a tool for a specific purpose, but at least people can see this, and it will be a sort of a light sculpture which will look amazing.
If you could actually just
the
end of that umbilical, please.
First, technical problems. It's one thing to have an idea in the studio, it's an entirely different one to put it into action. There are very few laser companies in the world, so I had to get over that one. Then the difficulty of getting permissions, because obviously an ancient monument, and it is a war memorial, is treated very seriously, and the authorities had to make absolutely certain that this was a serious work and it wasn't going to make fun of their structure.
Adam, why do you need the water for the laser?
It's basically for water cooling. Inside the head it gets so hot, it just needs the water to cool it off. At a great amount.
Right, I'll just fire it for a second and just see if anything comes.
Although this is just a test and in poor weather conditions, both Alan Smith and Chris Matthews were interviewed for BBC television and the press.
Chris, is it always hard to photograph them?
No, not really, but I mean, we're in daylight at the moment. I mean, at night, then it's going to be very easy here.
Can I see the beam a second?
Right, BBC reporting Scotland, 2 take 1.
Now, for people who can't see the monument itself, but just look out of their window and see the beams coming across,
Yes.
how do you think they will appear to them?
I think if tonight is anything to go by, they'll be very excited just by the experience of seeing the beams. They haven't known really what it's been about. They've just seen this very strange thing crossing the sky, and that's delighted them as well.
When I went down to have a look at it, from here it looks quite thick. And when you actually go down to see it, the actual ray is only about 3/8 of an inch thick. And it seems to bend as it goes up the force.
Puts you in mind of what you see on television when they space programmes.
It looks like
Ultraviolet, maybe, is it? Maybe an ultraviolet light.
At first I thought it was a searchlight. We've seen it in Edinburgh, you know. Well, high intensity beam of light.
A green beam. Yes.
I was driving.
I'd say that looks lovely. It looks lovely across the sky.
The colour attracts you, you know. It's a lovely colour.
It's a test for something that might be put on for the Edinburgh Festival next year. Do you reckon that it would be a good idea for the city?
I was told that, but I couldn't believe it, you know. It's from outer space or something like that, you know. But it would be quite a great thing for the festival.
Has anybody in the bus had mentioned it?
Well, the girl in the back of the bus asked me what it was. And I said, I don't know, I think it's a laser beam. Maybe the visitors go outer space.
If I told you it was a laser beam, what do you make of that?
Holy crap.
I don't know. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe.
How far do you think that beam's going?
About 10 mile.
Now, what do you reckon the distance is that thing is going?
I wouldn't be honest. Look in here and say 5 mile.
10 mile?
Do you think that's impressive?
Very impressive. It's a colour I like.
Now, the idea is that next year at the Edinburgh Festival, they're going to have 3 beams at the National Monument to finish off the roof of that thing. Now, what do you reckon that would be for Edinburgh?
It'd be quite nice, that. It'd be a bit of attraction, you know.
Now, you used the word just a moment ago to me about how you thought it was. What was that?
Well, you know, sometimes you get the evening clouds. You know, you sometimes get a rift, just a bit of light coming through. I thought that was it at first. But when I sort of studied it from the window, I reckon the only thing it could be was a laser beam.
How would you describe it? Just one adjective.
Well, I suppose eye-catching in a way.
Looks animated.
Do you reckon that'd be something that's nice to see, having seen this?
Oh, yes, that's lovely.
yes, I
I mean,
think
we're
it
just
would be.
coming
I'm
down
sure it would.
and we just stopped to have a look because it looks that nice, you know, up the sky, and we just stopped to have a look. Looks attractive.
Now, say that next year there will be 3 of those, even more intense, pointing straight up at the National Monument on top of Calton Hill and making a roof shape. What would you think?
Well, it would look very nice, It looks something else.
There are quite a lot of people that we've just been seeing out here in the streets. How do you think they're taking it? Such a surprise.
I've seen some, they're delighted. They really are pleased, yeah. It's always been a great surprise to them. Kids running out of houses and cars screeching to halt. And good, yeah, very good response.
Obviously, after 8 years of thinking about this, it must be quite a moment. How do you feel?
Very pleased. It really has worked so well.